Good evening and welcome back to Total Football Analysis's live coverage of the Bundesliga. As ever, I'm your commentator, Harry Symeou, and I'm joined once again by Cameron Meighan. Cam, how you doing? We're on our second game of the day. How you feeling?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to this one.
And if you just heard a massive bang there, the weather here in London is terrible. It is chucking it down. There is thunder, there is lightning. So if you see any flashes in my screen as well, that is what it is. But unfortunately, it can't be helped. So we're hoping for some fireworks on the pitch as Borussia Dortmund take on Hertha Berlin. We've just witnessed Bayern Munich comfortably beat by Leverkusen. So Dortmund now, of course, have the opportunity to close the gap on Bayern Munich at the top of the division to 7 points. Hertha travel to Signal Iduna Park, hoping to continue their impressive run of form. Since the restart, Bruno Labbadia has inspired today's visitors to 3 wins and a draw. However, Dortmund come into this one having put 6 past Paderborn last weekend, a game that myself and Cam covered, and they are the overwhelming favourites to win again here today. Let's take you through the two teams and then we'll get Cam's thoughts on those sides. Let's start with Borussia Dortmund. Roman Bürki in goal. It's a back three of Lucas Piszczek, Emre Can, Manuel Akanji. No Matt Hummels, of course. Axel Witsel, Thomas Delaney, Ashraf Hakimi, Rafael Guerrero, Julian Brandt, Torgan Hazard and Jadon Sancho. Looking at Hertha Berlin side, it's Rune Jarstein in goal, Peter Pekarik, Dedrick Boyata, Jordan Torunariga and Max Mittelstadt at the back. Marco Grujic and Skjelbred in the middle of the park. Rodi Labacchio, Vladimir Darida and Javero Dilrosun will be providing support to Vedad Ibisevic up top. Cam, looking at those two starting 11s, what stands out to you initially?
Probably just Dortmund using the same formation again like we expected. So it's going to be that 3-4-3 which we saw last week against Paderborn, and that we've saw pretty much every week with Dortmund since the break. Hertha, meanwhile, will probably look to sit in a little bit deeper. We saw Vedad Ibisevic playing, who under previous managers hasn't started much, but Labadia seems to have took a liking to him, and he's certainly performed well for the Bundesliga veteran that he is, really. Mostly uses kind of a hold-up player to allow those other players to get forward. So it's probably going to be Dortmund controlling the game and Hertha looking to hit them on the break.
Indeed. It should be an interesting encounter. Two sides who like to play on the front foot at the moment, and Hertha Berlin, they've turned the corner, really, haven't they, under Bruno Labbadia?
Yeah, they were probably my least favourite team to watch in the Bundesliga up until this break. They were playing really defensive, uninspiring football with pretty much next to nothing creative on the ball. But since Labadia's came in, they've started using almost positional style of play at times. So they've, particularly the game against Union Berlin, their rivals, they were really impressive with the positional play and started to retain possession a bit more. And then from there, the results have just picked up.
Indeed, they have. Hoping for some goals again. Every time I'm joined by Cam, we seem to get goals. 6 in the game earlier this afternoon. Of course, we had 7 in the game that we covered together last weekend, so we're hoping for more in this one. Borussia Dortmund versus Hertha Berlin. It's coming up in just a few minutes' time. Don't forget, if you're watching us via the Total Football Analysis YouTube channel, then please do come over to the Hot Mic app. Download it, use the promo code DFA2020. Follow Total Football Analysis. And that way you will never miss any of our broadcasts. We're bringing you an alternative soundtrack to some of your favourite football matches with expert insight and analysis. The likes of Cameron Meighan, who's with us today. Tactically, how are you expecting this one to go, mate?
Again, I think it depends on how Hertha set up. So straight away, I'd expect them to sit back a little bit more, but they could well go for a more braver approach. But with Dortmund's style of play and that back three in particular, it becomes really difficult to press them high just because, first of all, the commit numbers back. So you've also then got to commit players forward. But then also just the back three itself just stretches, presses and allows gaps to be created. And it's those gaps that Dortmund really thrive in. So I'm expecting Hertha to sit back a little bit deeper.
Yeah, probably. Is it likely to be the case given what we've seen of them so far. They'll know that they're in for a difficult game here at the Signal Iduna Park. A couple of changes to the Dortmund side. Axel Witsel starts, which he hasn't in the last couple of games that we've covered anyway. No Matt Hummels, so it'll be interesting to see how Borussia Dortmund. But with that, let's just quickly run through the two sides once more as kickoff approaches. The two teams are in the tunnel, almost ready to come out. It's Roman Bürki in goal for Dortmund. Lucas Piszczek, Emre Can, Manuel Akanji at the back. Axel Witsel and Thomas Delaney are in the two holding positions. Ashraf Hakimi on the right, Rafael Guerrero on the left, Julian Brandt in that sort of number 10 role. And it looks as though the front duties are going to be split between Thorgan Hazard, Jadon Sancho, of course, the former Manchester City man, who plenty of people here in the UK have been keeping a close eye on because his progress has been unreal. 20 years old, 17 goals, 17 assists in 27 Bundesliga games so far this season. That's a brilliant record. Let's move over to Hertha Berlin. The visitors today, it's Rune Jarstein in goal. It's a back four of Peter Pekarik, Dedrick Boyata, Jordan Torunariga, Max Mittelstadt, Marco Grujic, Per Skjelbred, and then it's Dodi Luka Bacchio, Vladimir Darida, Javero Dilrosun, and Vedad Bisevic as the players come out onto the field again. Just a quick disclaimer, if you see any flashes on my screen or hear any loud noises, it is this terrible weather that we're experiencing here in London. Fortunately, though, out in Dortmund, where we're watching the game from, conditions look to be pretty good. Two groups just making their way out onto the field. Thorgan Hazard exchanging a few words with his goalkeeper, Roman Bürki. Number 6 on your screens there for Hertha Berlin. Vladimir Darida, 29-year-old Czech international. Two captains. Discussions at the moment with the officials, Piszczek and Bisevic. Osmers is the referee today. You can see the players kneeling in the middle of the pitch there. Guess that's a mark of respect. Response to the events that have taken place in the United States lately and protests that have followed. Not sure if we saw this in the previous game. I'm pretty sure we didn't.
No, I don't think so. I know Dortmund have had T-shirts on pre-game, showing the respects for that. And Jadon Sancho and players like that have been big advocates of it. So, as all players should be.
Indeed. Sign of solidarity there from both groups of players. Borussia Dortmund and Hertha Berlin prepare to get underway here. Signal Iduna Park, once known as the Westfalenstadion. Can't get used to these sponsored names of stadiums. It takes me a bit of time. Set for kickoff. 5:30 kickoff. It's the second game in our live Bundesliga coverage this weekend. Borussia Dortmund versus Hertha Berlin. About ready to get underway. It's the visitors that will kick off, shooting from right to left on your screens in their traditional blue and white stripes. Dortmund, of course, yellow shirts, black shorts, yellow and black socks. Visitors in possession early on with Rune Jarstein. Long ball forward towards Javero Dilrosun. Here's Darida. Marco Grujic, of course, on loan from Liverpool. Somebody that Cam will know plenty about, I assume.
Yeah, he hasn't had the best season at Hertha Berlin. He doesn't play that much of an integral role. Certainly not under previous managers, but certainly had much of an improvement under Labadia, like most of the side has.
17 degrees centigrade at pitch level. Emre Can, interestingly, playing at central defence for Borussia Dortmund today in Matt Hummels' absence. How do you think he'll fare there?
I think its position is fairly comfortable, especially in games like this where it looks immediately like Hertha aren't pressing that high. it's almost just like him playing in defensive midfield and dropping it into that centre back position like he does at times. So I don't think it'll phase him too much.
Emre Can in possession now, out to Hakimi on this right hand side for Borussia Dortmund. Don't forget, if you're watching us via the Hot Mic app, share the broadcast, share, hit the like button, do what you got to do. Probably sound like a broken record, but it is so important. Here is Guerrero, now Akanji to Delaney. Dane plays it out to this right hand side. Hakimi's come forward. I suspect we'll see plenty of that in this game. Hakimi and Guerrero do like to get forward and provide Dortmund with width in the opposition's half. Mittelstadt will take this throw in for Hertha Berlin, just cleaning the ball on his shirt there. Red lays it off and Stadt switches the play to Pekarik, 33-year-old Slovakian. Cedric Boyata on the ball now. Many of you will remember him from his days at Manchester City and Celtic. Don't forget to sync our commentary with your TV pictures if you're watching on BT Sport 1 or Fox Sports. Watching via another provider, finding it a little bit difficult, you can use the manual synchronization buttons to give you a little helping hand. We're on the 2nd minute, 40th second. Mittelstadt on this left-hand side for the visitors. Dilrosun, Skjelbred now. Back to Boyata. To Berlin defence. Skjelbred once more picks it up. Plays it out to this left-hand side. Mittelstadt is it under control. Not under any real pressure, Mittelstadt.
No, Dortmund not looking too intense at the moment. Seem fairly happy to let Hertha have a go at coming to attack them first.
Just see the way Dortmund have lined up with Hazard and Sancho either side, and Julian Brandt is going to, well, it looks like he's going to step that little bit forward and make that a front three. And Dortmund have possession, but I'm sure with Brandt, as we always see plenty of movement and lots of fluidity in his positioning. Here is Grujic. Then off to Cedric Boyata. I'm making a great point. The Berlin pretty comfortable in possession in these sort of areas. No real intensity from Borussia Dortmund. Real urgency to press and close them down. There is Luka Bacchio. Mittelstadt now. Plays it into the channel for Dilrosun. Takes a nice touch. Got Piszczek for company. Dilrosun drives into the penalty area. Witsel now as Dortmund look to get it clear. Skjelbred got a foot in there though. Positive start from the visitors.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Labadia took charge of Hertha Berlin during the lockdown. It's been really difficult, but to his credit, he's done a fantastic job. As I said, 3 victories and a draw. It's the restart. Check. Now Hakimi. It's on loan from Real Madrid. Laney lays it off to Emre Can, playing at centre-back this evening. Lays it off to Guerrero. Delaney now. So he's going to be forced back. Plays it to Can. Lets it run across his body. And sprays it out to this right-hand side towards Hakimi. But visitors intercept possession. Bisevic looking to hold up the ball there. But he went down. No foul given. Jadon Sancho. Pulled it back for a Borussia Dortmund free kick for a foul on Guerrero. It'll take the free kick, short to Akanji. Fully, Hertha Berlin not putting the Borussia Dortmund defenders under much pressure as well.
Yeah, it looks like a 4-1-4-1 for Hertha at the moment. Sometimes steps up just to a 4-4-1-1. But yeah, like you mentioned, quite passive at the moment.
Having Had a comment from one of our listeners who's trying to manually sync it. We are currently on the 6th minute and 7th second. Possessed there by Guerrero. Lovely bit of trickery. Beats 2 players there, Guerrero. Checking back and laying the ball off to Manuel Akanji. Hope that helps win. Need it again, just let us know in the chat. Will be help. It's Jadon Sancho. He's in off to Brandt inside the centre circle. There's Hazard. Side to Sancho. He lays it off. Witsel now to the left hand side where Guerrero will pick it up. Sancho into Brandt. Gains possession. Forced back, but Hertha Berlin win possession. They've got a chance to break, looking to use Luca Bacchio's pace in behind there perhaps, but the pass was a poor one. Lucas Piszczek. Ashraf Hakimi. Seeing Luca Bacchio at times just drop in field, and the reader's been going out on that right hand side as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Scalesbred seems quite keen on looking where Julian Brandt is most of the time. Brandt obviously going to be making those dropping movements from a false 9 position.
Here's Sancho. Lays Hakimi in behind here. Gets inside the Hertha Berlin penalty area. Hakimi from the angle. It's the side netting.
Yeah, I mentioned it a lot last week about the half space, and it's going to keep coming up in this game as well. Hakimi there, always bombing forward as a wing back, combines well with Sancho. Not great defending by the centre back of Hertha Berlin, who probably should have got a bit tighter to Sancho. But it's easy to see why you wouldn't want to get too tight to him, which is why it's difficult to defend.
Agreed. Those of you struggling with the synchronization, we are currently on the 8th minute and 15th second. That helps with the manual buttons. We'll do that as frequently as you need us to. So please do let me know in the chat if you're having any trouble with it, because unless you let me know, I can't help. So please keep me informed, and I'll be sure to provide as many markers as we possibly can throughout the game so that you guys can sync your commentary or our commentary with your television pictures. We appreciate the support. We appreciate you joining us. Do our utmost to help you get it right. Here's Hakimi into Brandt. Loose pass from Brandt. That's a rare occurrence. Mittelstadt. Back to Dedrick Boyata, who's just dropped deep there to be able to receive the ball. Plenty of space. Pekarik on this right hand side. Play a 1-2 with Luca Bacchio. Grujic actually lays it off to his teammate. Scalebred inside the centre circle. 32-year-old Norwegian. Max Mittelstadt on this left hand side. Delivers. Cut out pretty comfortably. Here's Luca Bacchio. Heads in on towards Ibisevic. Can be a handful, can't he? Those sort of situations. Vedad Ibisevic. Very useful with his back to goal. Toruna Riga's ball forward. Dortmund have it back though. It's Hakimi. Back with Piszczek now. Emre Can. It's blocked. Signs of Hertha maybe moving slightly further up the pitch when Dortmund have possession at the back. Is it just me?
Yeah, again, I don't think Dortmund are pressing that intensely. See their average position map up now shows that 3-4-3 quite clearly. But again, Hertha quite comfortable in the press at the moment. But Dortmund did show some early signs of getting through. They have been through twice already.
Delaney. Get off to Guerrero. I'll just pulled out to this. Apologies, Sancho. Pulled out to this left hand side to receive the ball. Can. Possession now. It's back inside. Not much in the way of options. A risky pass was on maybe to Delaney, but Decided to go back to the goalkeeper instead. Probably the right decision. Symeou heads it on. Hazard out-muscled there by Toruna Riga. Driven forward here. Hertha Berlin plays the ball inside towards Ibisevic, but I think he'd have been offside there.
See
Emre Can.
Hertha's average position map as well. There looks on the average position looks more like a 4-4-2, but as you mentioned, Luca Bacchio sometimes sitting a little bit deeper, or even centrally at times with Derrida coming across.
Guerrero, Liam Brandt, who's popped up on this left-hand side. He has that freedom in this team, doesn't he, Cam, to do that, to take up positions in which he can be effective and impact the game. Breaks to Axel Witsel here. Guerrero, all inside. Ends up back with Rune Jarstein in the Hertha Berlin goal. 12 minutes played. Apart from Hakimi getting in once, Hertha Berlin will be pretty pleased with their start so far.
Yeah, seems to be limiting Dortmund's build up and their main ways of penetrating the defence. And Hertha, as you mentioned again, have decent possession spells, but Dortmund kind of letting them at the moment.
Or indeed, particularly in these kind of areas. Here's a question for you, Cam, nice and early. Don't forget, guys, you can send as many questions as you like via the Hot Mic chat box. We'll be checking the YouTube channel as well at halftime, and we'll be taking some of the questions from there as well. So feel free to put those in. We'll come to most of them at halftime. But for now, Win Morgan asks, how long do you think Dortmund will hold on to Sancho and Haaland?
I mean, I think the coronavirus situation is definitely going to impact the transfer market a little bit. We saw reports of Liverpool not willing to spend 55 million on Timo Werner, because not many people kind of know where the transfer market's going. I think that certainly helps them with regards to Sancho this summer. And it's been rumoured that he's not going to leave this summer, and you'll probably wait till next summer. Haaland, again, it depends on his form next season, but I'd expect it to be the same. So it could well be next season.
Manchester United obviously heavily linked with Jadon Sancho, but they're not the only ones. As you said, it'll be interesting to see how the coronavirus crisis impacts this summer's transfer window. Like you said, Timo Werner looks Chelsea bound now. Interesting. I didn't see that one coming. Here come the visitors. Opportunity perhaps to break forward. They got a man over on this right-hand side. Here is Pekarik. Luca Bacchio making the overlapping run. He finds him. He'll deliver it into the penalty area. Cut out at that near post by Emre Can. Good work from the former Liverpool and Juventus man. Hakimi. Brandt. Plays it off to Witsel. Hertha Berlin have got plenty of players back here. 8. They're starting, well, 9 if you include the goalkeeper behind the ball at the moment. And have had 65% of the possession so far, but can they create an opportunity? Here's Guerrero inside their penalty area. Wins his team a corner. You can see he's just gesturing to his teammates there. Probably wants to see a little bit more movement in the penalty area.
We saw Sancho and Brandt combining well there in the centre. So I think we mentioned this last week as well. Occasionally, if they do combine to set up that chance in the wide area for a cross, occasionally it does hinder the height of the team a little bit, so they don't have those players in high areas.
Jadon Sancho will take this corner, right-footed, delivers it into the penalty area. Almost an opportunity there for Mittelstadt to put it in his own net. He sort of swung a leg at it. Fortunately for Hertha Berlin, he didn't make any contact. Could have been in a real sticky situation. That ball come off of his right boot. following in at the far post, but he can't turn it back into a dangerous area, and Hertha Berlin have a goal kick. 16 minutes played here. Dortmund 0, Hertha Berlin 0. Again, if you're watching us via the Total Football Analysis YouTube channel, head over to the Hot Mic app, download it using the promo code TFA2020. Follow us, sync our broadcast with your television. Gone out for a throw in on that far side. Pekarik will take quickly. Visitors. Toruna Riga, 22 years old. Central defender. 14th Bundesliga appearance of the season. Cedric Boyata. Back to his central defensive partner.
I find it interesting that Dortmund aren't really engaging in much pressing high up the pitch whatsoever, really. They are doing now with that pressing trigger, but generally not committing that many players forward, which is strange.
Do you think that the form of Hertha Berlin has played a part in that? Do you think that had they not seen how, dangerous Bruno Labbadia's side have been in recent weeks, that you may have seen a slightly different Dortmund approach? Form does come into it, I guess, in terms of how they approach.
Yeah, and it's particularly the way they've won those games as well. They have been using that positional play that I've mentioned, and that does rely on them breaking presses at times, and they've used things like Marco Grujic dropping in to create a back three and things like that, so Dortmund are definitely paying them more respect than they would have done. But I still would have expected them to be a bit more intense.
On the visitors, opportunity to get forward themselves if Luca Bacchio can keep it on. He does. 1-on-1 with Akanji. Sancho's come over to help out defender Luca Bacchio. He's tried to play that ball in between the two, but it was intercepted. Guerrero, crossfield pass. I think it was Hazard, my apologies, that played the pass. Been picked up by a Hertha Berlin player who puts it into the penalty area. Mittelstadt had got forward there. Again, he wins it back. Opportunity now for Marco Grujic on the edge of the Dortmund penalty area. Here's Luca Bacchio. Tried to play that clever pass again, but again it was cut out. Now Dortmund can mount an attack of their own. Here comes Jadon Sancho. Skips past one, now two. Still got possession, Jadon Sancho. He's done really, really well there. Thorgan Hazard will switch the play. Find Hakimi. Would have been better served with a driven pass there, because it just took an age to come out of the air for Hakimi and slowed things down. Here is Hazard again. Driving across the width of the Hertha Berlin penalty area. Here's Hakimi on the right-hand side. Delivers. Cross blocked. Gone out for a Dortmund corner. 19 minutes played. 0-0 here. Big hello to everybody who's currently tuned in via the Hot Mic app. Don't forget to share the broadcast with your friends and family. Of course, like-minded football fans. It does help, and it really, really so strange. Even 4 or 5 weeks are we in, seeing the social distancing measures being applied in a stadium. Something I don't think I'll ever get used to. Corner to be delivered in towards that near post, headed clear there by Cedric Boyata. Cross. Heard crowd noises being played in the stadium earlier on. The game between Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. I think that's the case here as well. Lucien Favre staff are in full song. That's the case. Luis Guerrero delivered into the penalty area. Flicked on by the defender. Falls to Hazard, but he just couldn't get a hold of it. Good work in the end from Mittelstadt to throw his body in the way. Seeing it come in. Riga just maybe showing his inexperience there by flicking that on right into a dangerous position. Hazard swings a right boot at it, but he's completely sliced it, hasn't he?
Yeah, there wasn't much intelligent movement or anything by Dortmund there. It was simply just getting the ball into the wing, and then they had two players at the back post to deliver the ball into. Obviously, Riga didn't deal with it particularly well.
Roman Berkey miscontrolling that ball, but fortunately for him, in line with his goalposts. Angie in possession to Julian Brandt. Sancho. All up centrally, the ball's with Guerrero now on this left-hand side. Sancho gets it once again. Retains possession for the hosts. Check. Achraf Hakimi inside to Morgan Hazard, who's now on the right. Not so much movement in that front three of Dortmund. Here's Julian Brandt from the edge of the penalty area, fires one right-footed wide of Rune Jarstein's post. Goes down as a half chance though, having fashioned the space, shifts it out of his right foot, drives it towards that top corner, but it's drifting wide.
Yeah, it's that movement again makes them really hard to pick up, and then I think it's Akanji plays a really nice pass through. Dortmund's starting to get a bit of luck now in Hertha Berlin structure. Particularly, it occasionally becomes a 4-4-2, and De Rida seems to push up with Ibisevic. But then from there, it leaves Dortmund's wing back free at times, and then the full back has to go and press, and then that causes all kinds of problems when you've then got the likes of Jadon Sancho and Julian Brandt up against one centre back.
Toruna Riga and Boyata having to deal with some danger there just while you were speaking. Going to look a little nervy, the back in. Another question coming in from Win. He says, guys, are we likely to see state-supported / oligarch-owned clubs, majority of big spending, for a good period of time?
I mean, I mentioned that thing about the transfer market, but Manchester United in the past have never had problems financially, really, particularly in the transfer market. So it might not affect them that much. Obviously, Chelsea were willing to spend that transfer fee on Timo Werner, and Liverpool weren't. It's an interesting question, but to be honest, I'm not really sure.
Difficult one to. Thanks for your question, Win. Great question, though. When we can't answer them and when we got to think, it means it's a good question. So, cheers for that. Well done. He also says, great commentary, guys. Thank you so much, Win, and thank you to everyone else currently tuned in. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Head over to totalfootballanalysis.com. Sign up to the weekly magazine, and you'll get lots and lots of content. So, brilliant stuff. And you'll be able to access Cam's tactical analysis of the game we covered earlier on today between Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. Guerrero on this left-hand side. Out there, plays it inside. Witsel now. Amy picks it up. Check. Emi holds off the challenge of Dilrosun and plays it inside to Julian Brandt. Play it in through that tiny little gap to Jadon Sancho, but that was cut out. Bag's gone against Borussia Dortmund man. Jimmy Page. Go ahead, Mick.
You saw that problem again there with Hakimi. Just a simple pass, and he was allowed to get past Dilrosun on that side and immediately go at the fullback. That is something that I think Hertha needs to be wary of, otherwise Dortmund will start to take advantage of it.
Kick taken by the goalkeeper. Rune Jarstein. And goes down there. Chan. Man who went down under Ibisevic's challenge. Just shoulder barge into the back of him. Can't challenge people from behind. Simple as that. Here is Hakimi. Lays it off to Sancho. Gets it back. Here is Hakimi. Towards Brandt. Pedrick Boyata got a crucial foot in. Bacchio lays it off to Derrida. Back and gives it to Pedrick Boyata. Jimmy Page says, so far Luca Bacchio and Dilrosun seem to be marking the wing backs pretty consistently. Is that the key to defend them and the inside forwards?
I think Dilrosun, particularly, I keep mentioning that side with Hakimi. He's trying to mark him, but then occasionally he's just getting engaged into the press against Lucas Piszczek, who's a wide centre-back. And that is when the real problems start, because, as I've mentioned, you then get the full-back having to commit to press the wing-back, and then you've got centre-back on inside forward. And then, say if Julian Brandt does one of his typical movements to come and support Jadon Sancho, you've then got a 2v1 the centre-back. So I don't think Dilrosun's doing a particularly good job at the moment. I don't know if it's the system that he's been asked to press Piszczek or that he's just doing it anyway, but I think that is going to play a major factor in this game.
Is it clear? The reader lays it off to Marko Grujic and gets it back. Hertha Berlin, number 6. Certainly doesn't play like a number 6, but that's the number on the back of his shirt. Boyata to Jordan Torunariga.
See Grujic dropping into that centre-back role again.
Mittelstadt. All in behind, looking for Luca Bacchio, who tried with an acrobatic effort to, I think, play the ball across the penalty area. Chan doing enough to put the Belgian off. Ashraf Hakimi. Itzel in possession now for the hosts. To close the gap on Bayern Munich to 7 points at the top. To their credit, they bounced back after that defeat in their Klassiker. Smashing Paderborn. Here's Hakimi's ball into the box, low. Dealt with by Boyata. Ishek takes it back towards the Hertha Berlin goal. Here's Julian Brandt looking to dance past one challenge. Gets past the second. That's a horrible challenge. From Luca Bacchio, I think it was. Reckless challenge. Fortunately for Julian Brandt, managed to avoid it. Comes completely... It's a crazy sliding challenge. Substitution for Hertha Berlin. It looks like Javero Dilrosun's got a problem. He's been replaced early on by Eswein. See a shift in the positionings here of the Hertha Berlin players. Wait and see. Eswein comes on for Javero Dilrosun, who looked to have an injury problem. Guerrero dinks it into the penalty area. It's gone all the way through to the goalkeeper. We were saying in the last game, when the deliveries are so straight, they have to be right, don't they? Sometimes you may be better off trying to create the angle before crossing it, in my opinion. What do I know?
Yeah, you are right. You see teams occasionally with straight passes like that as well. You've got to, at times, try and disrupt the offside line in some way. So you see teams have 2 takers on free kicks, and that's the whole purpose of that. And then sometimes you have short passes as well.
He just shot there just straight into the arms of Roman Berkey. Comfortable save in the end. Certainly got hold of it, Derrida, but straight down the goalkeeper's throat. Hertha Berlin doing it again. And he got hold of it. Save though. For the Swiss goalkeeper. He's kept 10 clean sheets this season. Incidentally, I think I need to check my notes based on the last game, but I think no, it's not more than Manuel Neuer. My apologies. He's got 13. I was thinking of Lucas Radecki, who had 9, and was hoping maybe for a 10th today, but chances were very slim against Lucas Piszczek. Don't forget, get your questions in the live chat. We'll come to as many of those as we possibly can. Half-time break. Half an hour played here. Marko Grujic carrying the ball forward for Hertha Berlin. Ibisevic is ahead of him. Not really giving him much in the way of an option, though, or an angle. Dortmund managed to get back and pickpocket Marko Grujic there.
The referee looked like he missed a clear foul there. It looked like he just accidentally, Luka Bacchio looked like he just accidentally fouled one of Dortmund's players. I think we'll see a replay now.
Chan takes the ball to Luka Bacchio, just clattering into, this time, Delaney. I mean, how does that even happen? He doesn't even have the ball. So the Luka Bacchio play was allowed to continue. Players will receive treatment. Luka Bacchio is back up on his feet. Delaney is too now. Manuel Akanji. Get inside to Witsel. Looks for that long ball over the top in search of Julian Brandt, who pulled off slightly towards that left-hand side. Will pick up the loose ball. He's got Akanji for support close by. Steps into the midfield now in possession. Out to the right-hand side where Hakimi will take it down on his chest. Sancho's come into that half space. Dispossessed though, but Laney gets a good foot in, but Hertha Berlin with an opportunity to break maybe, but Ibisevic just lost his footing there. Here is Jadon Sancho now, approaching the Hertha Berlin penalty area. Marko Grujic gets back. Wonderful job of preventing the England international from creating anything. Been much in the way of chances so far. Hakimi got in on that right hand side in that half space. As well as that, Thorgan Hazard swung a right boot at a ball that came to him inside the penalty area. But other than that, Dortmund haven't created a great deal. Hertha Berlin will be the happier of the two sides so far. Wouldn't you say, Cam?
Yeah, but I don't think Dortmund will be too displeased. I'm going to keep mentioning that wing-back problem because I think it is going to keep happening. We just saw it then with Esfine. A big switch in play from the centre, from I think it was Akanji towards Hakimi. If I was setting up Hertha Berlin, I'd probably go with more of a 4-5-1 than the 4-4-2 that it's turned into at times, just because then you can allow a different player to press the wing back than the full back, which is starting to happen a little bit too much.
Ball played out by Rune Jarstein. Game here. Max Mittelstadt down. Here is Derrida in possession now for Hertha Berlin. Skjelbred in the middle of the park for Hertha Berlin. Looked as though he was laying that off to Boyata, who didn't read it. Caught on his heels there, and Dortmund get a throw in as a result. Witsel. Is Manuel Akanji. Towards Jadon Sancho. Still in possession now for Borussia Dortmund as they come flooding forward. Man over on this right-hand side. Here's Hakimi. Cuts it back. Brandt lets it run. Witsel fires towards goal. It's blocked. Hertha Berlin with an opportunity now maybe to threaten themselves as Esswein, the substitute, plays it out to the right. Marco Grujic will take it down on his chest, but the touch was a loose one. Jadon Sancho gets back. Here's Julian Brandt for Borussia Dortmund. Plays it out to the right-hand side where Achraf Hakimi will take it down. Emre Can's made the run forward. This right-hand side, overlapping Hakimi. Here he is. Steps inside his man. He's won a free kick there. Esswein, the substitute, brought him down just to the right of Hertha Berlin's penalty area. As we just see it once more. Lovely bit of skill from Hakimi. Just stepped inside and Esswein comes in with a sliding challenge. Maybe gets a slight touch on the ball there.
Difficult on that, I think.
Because the ball didn't change direction. It's very difficult, isn't it? Borussia Dortmund have a free kick just to the right of Hertha Berlin penalty area. A couple of players standing over it. One of them is Guerrero. Will it be a left-footed delivery into the penalty area? The other one is Morgan Hazard. Guerrero goes for goal in the end, a driven effort, but it was always rising, never testing Rune Jarstein in that Hertha Berlin goal. Team Favre side bounced back from the Klassiker defeat, as I've mentioned already, to their credit, with an emphatic victory. Paderborn. Bayern Munich closing in on their 30th Bundesliga title now. 2 wins from their remaining 4 fixtures. Hard to see them throwing that away from the position they currently find themselves in. Here is Achraf Hakimi on this right-hand side for the host. To Julian Brandt. Is it off to Witsel? Brandt. Guerrero. Brandt gets it back. Forced back. Kanji now. Laney. Guerrero on the left. Julian Brandt receives it. Seeds a throw in the end.
A few times there they could have just done with a switch to the other side, just to keep stretching that midfield 4 of Hertha. A couple of times it's going to keep happening in the game. Esswein is constantly checking to see where Lucas Piszczek is, to then go and press him, which then leaves Hakimi free again. But it's pretty much it's better option once the ball's been switched, because they're that much stretched.
Got a question in the chat. Wouldn't it be best for smaller teams like Paderborn to defend Dortmund using 5 at the back, as well as to solve the issue of Dortmund overlapping on the wings?
Yeah, that was Schalke's thinking in their game. But Dortmund found a way of overloading that half space still. At times you had Hazard, Haaland and Sancho all within the half space in one go. So it's certainly an option that helps you to increase your coverage along the back line. But as they showed against Schalke, it's still possible to exploit.
Ekeric on this right-hand side for the visitors into the Rieder. Under pressure from Akanji, who concedes a throw-in. Ekeric will take it. By Emre Can. Sancho, the first time ball into Julian Brandt, but he can't get it under control. Opportunity for the visitors to get some men forward. Here is Marco Grujic now back out to this left-hand side to Mittelstadt. Here is Esswein, substitute, of course, replacing Guerrero Dilrosun after he went off injured. Stats cross is blocked, but the ball will break to Derrida, who's taking it down. Hertha Berlin forced back. Now with Dedrick Boyata inside the centre circle. Plays it to the right. Peter Pekarik delivers into the box, right-footed towards that far post. No one in the Hertha Berlin shirt is anywhere near it. Meighan time to get it down. Skipped past his man. Dortmund looked to build. It's under a bit of pressure there from Skjelbred. The Dortmund won't mind this. They won't mind Hertha Berlin being pulled out of their positions in order to create those spaces. It's Marko Grujic now. Plays it to his right for Dodi Lukebakio. It's back inside and ends up going back to Pekarik at right back. Plays it in behind. That back to Eswein. Dortmund win themselves a throw-in. Almost in line with the edge of their own penalty area, but it gives them a breather. That was a good little spell from the visitors. Better. Dortmund wasting the opportunity to get the ball up the field, and Hertha Berlin have a throw-in. Plays it back to Dedrick Boyata. Pekarik down the line. Reader's pulled out to that right hand side. He gets a foot to the ball. Looked as though Emre Can was the odds on favourite to clear that. The ball ended up in the penalty area, but no danger whatsoever for Dortmund to deal with in the end. There's Mittelstadt, left-hand side for the visitors. Plays it back to Jordan Torunariga. 43 minutes played. It's Dortmund 0, Hertha Berlin 0.
I don't think Dortmund haven't done much in the way of breaking them down, but I think it's also partly due to this pressing structure that they've taken up. They haven't had as much ball possession as they'd like, and they haven't therefore had as much time to break Hertha down. So I think it will become a bit more intense in the second half.
Has to, doesn't it? Because at the moment, they don't look like they are going to break this Hertha Berlin side down, who have improved dramatically under Bruno Labbadia. It is worth noting that. Come into this game with a lot of confidence. Grujic involved in an exchange with Jadon Sancho there. Grujic is certainly the bigger man. He managed to get his body in the right places. Ball forward towards Ibisevic, but Emre Can steps out the defence to win it. Dedrick Boyata now. Hertha Berlin look to clear their lines once more. Mittelstadt. To Ibisevic. Eswein now on this left-hand side. Skips past his man. Can he keep it in? He manages to get the cross into the penalty area. Referees have judged that ball to have gone out of play. It's a Dortmund goal kick. It's half-time at the Westfalenstadion. It's Borussia Dortmund 0, Hertha Berlin 0. Not much in the way of clear-cut chances, not much in the way of action, to be honest with you. Hertha Berlin will certainly be the happier of the two sides. They're holding Lucien Favre's men to a draw, and it's a result that I'm sure they'd be happy to take with them back to Berlin. It's 0-0 at the break. We'll be back in a few minutes. We'll be answering some of your questions, so get them in the chat box now. Don't forget, give us a follow if you haven't already. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, download the Hot Mic app, sign up using the promo code TFA2020, sync our commentary with your television pictures. We'll be back in just a few moments. Good evening and welcome back to Total Football Analysis. It's live coverage of the Bundesliga. It's Borussia Dortmund 0, Hertha Berlin 0. Still no breakthrough here at the Signal Iduna Park. Dortmund have had quite a bit of possession. Hertha Berlin have had their fair share as well, but nothing really in the way of clear-cut chances at the moment. Don't forget, if you haven't already, give us a follow via the Hot Mic app. That way you'll never miss a broadcast. And in the coming weeks, we've got plenty of games coming your way, including some of the Premier League stuff, games from La Liga, and of course Serie A. They are all in the pipeline, so we look forward to bringing you some of those, and there'll be some great analysis from some of the team's other analysts, and there'll be some different commentary as well. So if you got bored of my voice, you'll be able to listen to somebody else's dulcet tones for the commentaries. Right, let's go over to the live chat box as it's half time. Thank you to all of those of you who have interacted with us so far. Craig says, I wonder, based on what Cameron said about Schalke's approach and how Dortmund overloaded the half spaces, if Hertha have surrendered the wide area with Dortmund missing Haaland central. Do you think that could be a deliberate ploy?
Yeah, definitely. That wide area is obviously less of a threat, particularly when Haaland isn't on, but it's less of a threat than that half space. But again, I think with any kind of defensive system, there's always going to be one area that you sacrifice. And obviously they've chosen to sacrifice that wing at times. But I still do think that Dortmund are going to create a chance off that area at some point.
Yeah, and it's a great spot, Craig, as well. Well done, and maybe we'll get you on here to do a game with us as well. Brilliant stuff. Magnus says, this seems like your first 0-0 game. If I'm not mistaken, Cam, wasn't it 0-0 last week when we did Dortmund versus Paderborn? Break. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
And then we got 7 goals in the second half. So fingers crossed we have a repeat of that. Like I said in our last broadcast, whenever Cameron's with me, we seem to get a flurry of goals. So hopefully that record doesn't come to an end here. Just a few minutes away from the kickoff for the second half. Dortmund need to improve. Hertha Berlin haven't been great, but I think they'll be pleased with the way things have gone so far in terms of the result anyway. Of course, they lost Javero Dilrosun to injury. He's been replaced by Esvine. I'm not saying that Esvine is a better player overall, but I think he's looked a bit more lively on that left-hand side than maybe Dilrosun did today. But of course, it looks like he was carrying a problem, so that could explain that. Moment or two away from the resumption of this one. Emre Can, of course, has played at centre-back. How do you think he's gotten on so far, Cam?
Yeah, I don't think they're using him that much. As I mentioned a few times, I don't think they're switching the play from centre-back to centre-back enough. So that central player, who's Emre Can, isn't getting the ball that much, but from what he's done so far, he's been average, yeah.
What do you think the key is to unlocking Hertha Berlin? Then we've discussed that the approach that they've taken to maybe surrender certain areas of the pitch in order to be more watertight in others. If you were Lucien Favre looking at this now at halftime, is there any tweaks that you'd make in the hope of breaking them down?
Not so much a tweak, but more of just that pattern that I keep talking about. So whenever they switch that play to a wide centre back, so say they go from Akanji to Lucas Piszczek on the opposite side. Alexander Esvine or whoever's on the left wing has to then go and press the wide centre back, and then from there again you've got the wing back free, and then you can trigger a press from the full back, and then you've got centre back as well who has to then come across, and then you gradually just grinding down the whole team's defensive structure. So I think the key for them is switching the play from side to side. There were a few times where Akanji kept plugging it down his side, which is okay because they got some success for it. Sometimes it's better to just try the other side and try and stretch that play because, again, I really do think if they are going to score a goal, it's going to come from the wing back being in acres of space.
I think you're right. I'll make you right there. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds in the second half, whether Hertha Berlin will continue doing what they're doing, whether they'll think that maybe there's an opportunity to maybe, go and get a goal of their own. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. We don't know if there's been any changes at the break yet. I'm sure we'll find out in the next couple of moments. But we have seen a lot of changes at halftime in the Bundesliga since its resumption. Fitness being an issue, and now teams are allowed to make 5 changes during a game instead of 3 temporarily. As you said, you don't think that there needs to be any major change in that Borussia Dortmund side. Do you think it's just a matter of time? So, I guess similarly to the way it was against Paderborn last week.
Paderborn, I remember at the end, or going towards the end of the first half last week, we both said that it looked like Dortmund was starting to grow into the game a little bit more. This game, I don't think that's happened yet. But any game where it's a team trying to break another team down, it is about patience. It's about not reacting too quickly and not making a ton of changes dead quickly.
Plenty of football to be played at the Westfalenstadion. Borussia Dortmund 0, Hertha Berlin 0 as we wait for the second half to kick off. Don't forget, you can sign up to the Total Football Analysis magazine, and you can head over to the website and become a member. Lots of tactical analysis type content. It's industry leading stuff from some of the best analysts in the game, Cam being one of them. Of course, there is plenty more brilliant people in that team as well, and it's well worth a subscription. So if you haven't done that already, please head over there and check that out. If you're watching us on Hot Mic for the first time, then why not give us a follow? Share the broadcast with your friends and family. The more people watch it, the better. It's great. We love interacting with you guys, and we hope that we're bringing you some in-depth analysis, or that Cam's bringing you kind of in-depth analysis that makes you want to week in, week out for these games. Total Football Analysis offering you an alternative soundtrack to your football, I guess. We're about to come back for the second half. Pictures of teams getting ready to return. Substitutes warming up as the rest of the gathering in the tunnel. Long before we're back underway. So Schmelzer on your screens there. Got a goal, didn't he? Last week, which was unusual for him. Another couple of questions that have just come in. Let's go to these. Magnus says, what are the keys for Dortmund in the goal-scoring phase?
Again, it's that wing-back finding that space. So again, switching the play. Not necessarily, I don't mean long switches of play, so not a big diagonal pass across the pitch, but just going from starting on the left side, for example, and then gradually going to the right side with a pass between the centre-backs. And then from there, as I've explained, that gradually triggers that press in areas where they don't want to. One of the main advantages of a back freeze is that you engage not just the first line of the press. So with Hertha's structure at the moment, it's a 4-4-1-1 at times. And so obviously Ibisevic on his own can't press 3 central defenders. So you then engage in players from the second line. And if you don't have that many players back, as Hertha don't in those areas, then can gradually, as I mentioned, keep progressing the ball in those areas. That's the key, I think.
Stuff. Let's see. Salim says, will it be better if they continue with the same lineup, or Favre replaces a player, try and turn things around? I guess you've already made the point that you'd like to see stick with the team that they've got out there at the moment.
Yeah, or they could potentially make some like-for-like changes, but I don't think they need a change in system. So we might see Gio Reyna come on at some point, just because he's a similar player to those half-space occupiers, but not yet, I don't think.
Like Hertha Berlin are planning to make a substitution here. We're just awaiting confirmation on that as the Dortmund players stroll back out onto the pitch. Manuel Akanji in your pictures there, Lucas Piszczek. International colleague, Piontek. Luca Bacchio has been replaced, I think, for Berlin. We're just waiting for that confirmation. And Gankam that's going to come on. 18-year-old attacker. No official confirmation, but Luca Bacchio hasn't come onto the pitch, so I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say that he's the man that Gankam is replacing. Ibisevic, the captain, just giving the substitute some words of encouragement. An experienced campaigner is Vedad Ibisevic, 35-year-old Bosnian. 5 Bundesliga goals this season so far. Offers them a target, offers them a focal point. Dortmund that are going to kick us off. We're back underway here at Signal Iduna Park. Here's Rafael Guerrero. Alakanji. The ball back to Roman Berkey. There's the official confirmation on your screens. Gankam replacing Dodi Luca Bacchio. Hazard looks to play that ball just around the corner. Julian Brandt's direction. Dortmund have a throw in though on that right hand side after the ball deflected off the Hertha Berlin defender. Here's Hakimi. Get back from Sancho. Back to Emre Can. Out to the left hand side where Rafael Guerrero will pick it up into Julian Brandt. Witsel. The right hand side, Hakimi takes it down nicely, but he's under pressure from Svine. Here is Rafael Guerrero. Now Thorgan Hazard plays it inside to Brandt. Lovely ball into the gap. Here's Delaney. Looks to find Sancho. No, he went for Hakimi in the end, but perhaps Sancho was the better option. Svine gets back.
Perfect example there of what I've been talking about was that the wing back getting in space and then quick overload in the half space. Guerrero there overloads the half space and Brandt is on hand again to connect the play with his link up.
Dortmund have a corner. It's delivered in towards that near post. It's cleared by Pekarik. He'll come back though. Jadon Sancho. Can't help but think that Delaney, had he laid off Jadon Sancho there, we might have been talking about the first goal of the game. Probably the wrong option. Looking for Hakimi. Here is Emre Can. Lays it off to Witsel. Switches the play. It's a good driven ball out to this right hand side. Hakimi keeps it in brilliantly. It off to Sancho. Delaney under pressure. Loses possession. It's the reader for the visitors. Looks up. Under pressure from Piszczek, who was getting back. Plays out to the left hand side. Svine. In behind towards the reader, but the pass was overhit. Fortunately for Borussia Dortmund. Better stuff though from Hertha Berlin. Carrying a little bit more threat in their counter-attack this time around. But again, the final pass was lacking. Here is Skjelbred. Grujic. Reader into the feet of Ibisevic. Fired from the edge of the box by Grujic. Flag's gone up, I think. The Bosnian had just straight offside there before receiving the ball. See the replay again. Yeah, just slightly offside there. Vedad Ibisevic. Between Akanji and Chan there. Here is Manuel Akanji. To Witsel. Out to this left hand side where Guerrero will receive it, but he plays it back inside to Akanji. The ball into Brandt's feet. Delaney does really, really well to pick up that loose ball. Mittelstedt finds long ball forward towards Ibisevic, Dortmund have it back though. The Reader lays it off. Grujic gets it now. To the right hand side for Pekarik, who's come forward. Gankau made the move ahead of him, but chose not to use him. Grujic looks to switch the play. Eswein can't. The Reader, my apologies. Pulled out to that left hand side. Emre Can. Will says, come on Dortmund in the comments. I have to say, I don't have any preference over who wins this. See a good game of football. As the ball is switched, is Achraf Hakimi. For Jadon Sancho's run. Cut out though. Skilbred does really well to carry the ball out for Hertha Berlin, but he's stopped in his tracks and the hosts have it back. Here's Axel Witsel. It's it back from Guerrero. It's for Brandt, but Grujic cuts it out. Witsel has it back now. Lovely 1-2 with Brandt. Plays it out to the right-hand side. Hakimi in behind here. Delivers low across the penalty area. Hazard at the far post. Cuts it back. And Jadon Sancho has missed an absolute sitter. What a chance for Borussia Dortmund. Brilliant football from the home side. Hazard has the presence of mind there to cut it back to Sancho, who's in a far better position. But the Englishman unable to divert that on target. It's just wide of Rune Jarstein's goal. You can see why he went that way and why he tried to play it back where it came from. But he's completely misjudged that, and Dortmund allow a good chance to go begging there.
That link-up play again by Julian Brandt, dropping into areas and combining with other players. It looks like Dortmund are starting to knock on the door a bit more now.
See Emre Can jumping with the Reader there. Can penalised. He's not happy. Let us know what you make of the crowd noise being played in the stadiums, some of the stadiums this weekend. Are you all for it? I think the game should just be left alone. Here's the Reader. Take this free kick for the visitors. Mittelstadt will put it in towards the penalty area, towards Boyata, who got forward, but Emre Can won it. Here's and Jadon Sancho picked this up. He can't. Julian Brandt can though. Dortmund have a man over here. That was a real opportunity to get him behind, but Brandt's pass was a poor one. Perhaps he could have used Hakimi on the right instead. Hakimi visibly disappointed, but he's got the ball now. Brandt's made the run ahead of him. Hakimi fires left-footed. High and wide in the end though. From the fullback. Just see that opportunity again. Brandt manages to recover possession. He looks for Sancho, but he plays it straight into Jordan Torunariga. Gets a vital foot to it. Perhaps he would have been better served going with Hakimi on the right. What do you think?
Yeah, he certainly looks more open than the other player did, but it's uncharacteristic of Brandt to fail to make that simple of a pass, really.
And make the right choice as well. Here's Witsel in the centre circle for the hosts. Kanji. Delaney dispossessed there. Hertha Berlin have 4 players forward here. There's only 4 the Dortmund defenders back. They haven't used the ball well once again. Let off for Dortmund because he certainly had the players to cause some problems there. Poor use of the ball. Small. Here's Jadon Sancho picking the ball up deep, driving at this Hertha Berlin side. Here's Thorgan Hazard. Guerrero makes the overlapping run. Guerrero cuts it back. Nobody. Dedrick Boyata picks up the loose ball. Completely miscued that. Former Mönchengladbach man. Here's Boyata. Still got the ball. Going to throw him for his team. by the halfway line. Just signs, though, that it's starting to open up a little bit.
Yeah, for both teams as well. I think a couple of fairly open transitions in the past couple of minutes.
Cedric Boyata. Bruno Riga plays it out to the left-hand side where Mittelstedt will receive it, but he plays it straight back. Here's Boyata, the former Celtic and Manchester City defender. Forward towards Ibisevic. Kanji does well, though. Here's Thomas Delaney, the Dane. The feet of Hazard. Dropped inside to that half space. Skjelbred.
See, there when there's no switching play from Dortmund, it becomes a bit static and slow.
Ball in behind. Esvine from the angle. Oh, that's a great effort from Esvine. Made the run across the penalty area there. Just seeing it again. Dortmund dispossessed. Appeals for a foul there, maybe. I don't know. The reader plays it in behind. I don't think Esvine was who that pass was intended to, but he continued his run. He got in behind. He's done everything right in terms of going back across Roman Berkey's goal, and it's just wide.
Again, it comes from that kind of slow build-up at times from Dortmund, where if they don't switch the ball, we saw the winger can dispossess the wing-back quite easily.
Just signs that this game is threatening to kick into life. Here's Guerrero on the left. Plays it in for Thorgan Hazard inside the penalty area, but Cedric Boyata comes across with a good sliding challenge and concedes a corner. 29 years old now. Former Premier League defender. Hazard is going to take this corner. Sancho's come short. Delivers it in towards that near post. He's flicked on towards the far post, though. Witzel will try and get it under control. He does eventually. Here's Hakimi. Delivers it back out to this left-hand side. Chan chests it down. Sancho does really, really well to hold on to possession there under pressure from two Hertha Berlin men. Delivers in towards Julian Brandt. Knocks it down for Emre Can. And Emre Can opens the scoring for Borussia Dortmund. The former Liverpool man has given the hosts the lead after 57 minutes. Wonderful football from Dortmund again. Brilliant chip from Sancho. The presence of mind from Brandt to do what Julian Brandt does best. And there was Emre Can to finish it brilliantly.
Yeah, just waiting for the replay again, but it looks like typical Julian Brandt football. Yeah, it's more or less in the half space again, and it's just Brandt and Can almost overloading the same player, so nobody can pressure Emre Can. And then it's a great finish again.
It's a brilliantly worked goal from Borussia Dortmund. They always have this in them, those moments of genius from their top quality players. Lucien Favre pleased with that one, no doubt about it. Just seeing the replay again, though, and I know we've been picking on goalkeepers today, does Rooney Yarsteen get a hand to that? I think he does.
Yeah, I think he did.
Perhaps he'll be disappointed, but that shouldn't take anything away from the magnificent build-up play that led to that goal. Here's Guerrero. Here's Brandt now inside the penalty area again. Looks to play Guerrero in behind. Chan getting his second Bundesliga goal of the season. That's the difference between the two sides at the moment as we approach the hour mark. Don't forget, if you're joining us for the first time, give Total Football Analysis a follow on the Hot Mic app. If you're watching via YouTube, download the app, sign up with the promo code TFA2020. We'd love to have you join us for some future broadcasts. As mentioned earlier on, we'll be covering games from the Premier League, from Serie A, from La Liga when they are all back up and running. Laney just getting a foot in there. I think it was Gankam who came across there a little bit too strongly. And Kanji in possession. Dortmund have their breakthrough. Be interesting to see how Hertha Berlin respond. Expect them to change anything tactically just yet?
No, I think it's similar to the first game at Go today. Just try and stay in the game for now and try and weather the storm a little bit, and then look to make changes.
Sancho, lovely bit of skill on the corner. Hertha Berlin's penalty area. Looks to find Piszczek, who'd got forward. He's unfortunate. The cannon back off of him. He's gone out for the Hertha Berlin goal kick. Ospers, the referee, has had a relatively easy game so far. He's not had to really deal with any difficult situations. He hasn't brandished the card yet. Kind of game a referee dreams of. And I guess when the referee's quiet, it means they're doing a decent job. Most instances, anyway. I think I just say that because being a Premier League fan, I'm used to seeing referees trying to take centre stage. Mike Dean. Here is Delaney. Well there to recover possession. For his side, here's Julian Brandt. Excellent layoff, if you like, to Emre Can. Huge role. Dortmund taking the lead here.
We saw Dortmund progress then again by the winger coming across the press, the wide centre back. And then from there, for a split second, you saw it was Julian Brandt in acres of space against the centre back, but Witsel just couldn't get it to him.
Hertha Berlin making a change here. Skjelbred is going off, the 32-year-old Norwegian, and he'll be replaced by Lucas Piontek. That is a tactical change, isn't it?
Yep. You'd expect that. He'll certainly be going to play up front, so.
Former AC Milan striker. £27 million signing. Are you surprised that he doesn't start at the moment?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we mentioned before how much he's preferred Ibisevic, simply because of his target man-like abilities at times. Piatek, early in his Hertha Berlin career, didn't have the greatest form to begin with, but he's came into more form under Labadia.
Guerrero plays it out towards the right. Hakimi gets a touch. Sancho does well to avoid the challenge. Best vine there. Here is Hazard, operating largely on this left-hand side in the second period. He's been fouled there by Ngankam. He's gone down holding his calf. He's given the free kick. Nothing more than that, though. Probably seems like the right decision. .62 minutes played here. Dortmund looked to take the free kick quickly. Thought the referee was going to stop it there, the way he was caught so unaware. Ball rolls into the Berlin penalty area, though, and the goalkeeper will gather it. And wins the header. Been pretty dominant in the air, Emre Can, for Dortmund at the back there today. Here's Witsel. Guerrero. Finds Can. To Brandt. Towards Hakimi on the right-hand side, but the pass was a poor one. Played back uncomfortably, though, to Jarstein in the Hertha Berlin goal. He did well to deal with that because the pass certainly wasn't ideal. Borussia Riga looking to step out of the defence. Here is Piontek. To Ibisevic. Pekarik comes forward now for Hertha Berlin. That's it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Derrida takes a touch. Derrida fires that goal. He really got hold of that by the looks of things, but Witsel did really well to get his body in the way. Hazard involved in a clash with Ngakam there. Certainly looked like a foul to me. First viewing anyway. Yeah, I think Hazard's just got there first. You look at the difference in frames between the two players.
Yeah.
There's only ever going to
And
be
that
one
helps
winner.
Hazard.
Yeah. Referee just coming over to have a word. Ibisevic, Berlin captain, making his feelings known. Sure, he can have too much to argue about there, but don't always see it like that in the heat of the moment. Your teammate involved. Here's a Kanji to Brandt. Marco Grujic. You think he has a future at all at Liverpool, Cam? Because, I mean, I get the feeling that they're probably going to look to move him on if the price is right. But as a Liverpool man and someone who watches the Bundesliga very closely, is he someone you'd like to see back at the club?
I don't think he has that much of a future at Liverpool. Like you mentioned, I do expect him to probably be sold. He hasn't had his greatest game today, and generally at Hertha Berlin he's had a few good performances, but he hasn't been a standout player for them. He was a little bit under one of the previous managers, Paul Dardai, but before that, not really. And his general playing style and Liverpool's relative strength and almost Klopp's stubbornness in the central midfielder area of who he usually plays, I can't see him featuring much for Liverpool.
Dortmund once again is Torgan Hazard. Guerrero, he gets it back. A technically gifted player, isn't he? So lays it off to Emre Can. Lays it into Jadon Sancho. Takimi. He was going to use Sancho there, but didn't in the end. Sancho's got it back now, but the flag's gone up. He strays back into the picture from an offside position. I see another change by the looks of it from Borussia Dortmund. Julian Brandt is the man who's going to make way. Going to be replaced by the 17-year-old Reina, son of the former Sunderland and Manchester City midfielder Claudio Reina. Those of you who remember him. Got a lot of ability, this young man, a lot of talent. Very highly spoken of in the German game, isn't he, Cam?
Mm-hmm. He'll probably play a similar role to what Julian Brandt has been in this game. Again, just looking to overload areas and find spaces to get the ball.
And Hazard penalised there. Berlin have a free kick. Got around about 22 minutes plus stoppage time to find a way back into this game. Currently trailing. Emre Can's second Bundesliga goal of the season. Taken in the end. The delightful piece of link-up play between Jadon Sancho and Julian Brandt. Create the opportunity. Gankam trying to get in behind Akanji there. Akanji's not happy even though he's won a goal kick for his team. Claims he was pulled. You know what, he might have had a point. Yankam's been very physical since he's come on. Been involved in a couple of exchanges. Eager to impress. Manuel Akanji. Just the one goal so far, but myself and Cam's record stands of never having dealt with a 0-0 so far. It continue. Pretty sure myself and Lee had a couple right in the early stages of the Bundesliga's return, and I can tell you they were painful at times. Rune Jarstein. Now Jordan Torunariga. Likes stepping out of the defence and carrying the ball forward, doesn't he? Seems very comfortable at doing that. Here is Boyata. Now Pekarik. Down the line in search of Bisevic, who had pulled out to this right-hand side, but the ball is cleared by Manuel Akanji, out for a Hertha Berlin throw-in. Boyata. Now Mittelstedt. Delivery in towards the penalty area, taken on the chest. Flicked around the corner. Here's Ngankam now. 1-on-1 with Guerrero. Steps inside him. He's got Hazard for company now. Gankam's brought down. Hazard, the one committing the foul this time. An opportunity for Hertha to have an effort at goal here. See Hazard just catching him there. It certainly looks like a foul. Having watched the replay, you can have any complaints about that.
Hertha just shows some signs of just struggling to break Dortmund down at times and not using some of the build-up structures that they used against the likes of Union Berlin, like I mentioned. Central midfielders not dropping in too much or things like that, which will help them to disrupt the press. But they have had a good record with set pieces so far.
That's fine. Leaves it. The reader made out as if he was going to have a go at that far post. It's towards Boyata. Heads it back. Piontek can't pull it out of the air though. Piszczek does really, really well. Reina. Am I right in saying that his dad used to wear the number 32 shirt as well?
I'm not sure.
Have I just made that up off the top of my head?
Not sure.
Pretty sure he did. I don't know why I think that. I have to check that and come back to you. Certainly didn't at Sunderland. I think he wore the number 4 at Sunderland, but did he wear it at Manchester City? No, I don't think he did. A quick Google search there. I don't know where I've got that from. Apologies. Terrible. Terrible on my lack of research.
He's a bit before my time, his dad, I think.
Not before mine, though. That's the thing. Fired from the edge box, deflected up into the air, but Roman Berkey will collect it after it bounces distance outside of his 6-yard box. Here is Guerrero playing it inside. Sancho wins his team a throw-in though after the ball breaks to him. 72 minutes played. Dortmund 1, Hertha Berlin 0. Come the visitors, hoping to find a way back into this fixture. Trail to Emre Can's goal. Mittelstedt. Piontek. Trying to keep it in. Emre Can using his strength though. No pushover, is he, Emre Can? Really physically commanding player. Morgan Hazard brought down. He wants a free kick. He's not going to get one. Show of strength there from Jordan Torunariga. You look at the size difference between the two players, it's no wonder he came off as the winner there. Doesn't mean it's not a foul though. Here's a Bisevic. Plays it out to the right hand side where Pekarik has come forward. He cuts it back to the edge of the box, delivered by Derrida. Poor delivery. Sure about that. Looks like a shoulder to shoulder challenge maybe. Maybe I'm just old fashioned, but
not a foul for me.
2. Greg says Cameron is spot on about the lack of rotations for the centre midfielders. I would like to see Boyata and Torunariga step out more in possession, lure in the winger, try get the fullbacks on the ball.
Yeah, I agree. It's not Hertha haven't done much creative when they've had the ball. That's why they haven't built through very much, I don't think.
Reina and Hakimi combining Kimi plays the ball inside and he just failed to find his man. Berlin have an opportunity to break themselves now, but touch from Esswein is a poor one, and Rainer's back in possession for Borussia Dortmund. Here is Axel Witsel now. Breaks it also says, I'm sure Rainer was number 6 at Rangers. I think you're right, mate. I don't know where I got number 32 from. Well, I have to check it out. But can't tell you now, but I'll take you guys' word for it. I'm probably wrong. Crazy claim made on my part. Lack of research, which I apologise. Dortmund have themselves a free kick now, and it looks like we're going to see the first yellow card of the game. Going to be Esswein. Certainly been in and amongst everything since he's come on. Really robust player. Really energetic, really hard working. Can have no complaints about that as he comes sliding across, takes out Rainer. Rain's starting to come down. Westfalenstadion. The rain has stopped here and the rain started there. Rather there than here though. Sancho delivers into the penalty area. Witsel at the far post hooks it back across the goal, but it's high. It's gone out for a goal kick. He was offside there by the looks of it. The flag's gone up as well, so it'll be a free kick. Instead, see a Kanji flicked it on towards that far post. Witsel had made the movement, but he couldn't control his pullback. Doesn't matter in the end anyway because he was offside. That's not where offside offence took place though, was it? It was on the complete other side of the goal. He's let it go. Out there, Piontek. Raf Hakimi. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to share the broadcast. The like. Piontek picking up a yellow card there. Surprising, his first challenge. Second yellow card of the Bundesliga campaign. Spoke about the referee not giving out any cards, and he's given out 2 in the last couple of minutes. Both to Hertha Berlin players, Esswein and Piontek, both in the book. Hakimi inside to Delaney.
For Dortmund now, it's just about keeping that same style of football, but just trying to make it as safe as possible. So keeping players behind the ball and in positions where they can pick up second balls if they do lose it.
Delaney involved in a challenge there with Derrida. The visitors look to come forward. Taken down on the chest by Ngankam. Plays it in towards Piontek, but it's cleared. Interestingly, going into this one, Hertha Berlin had the opportunity to close the gap on the European places to just 2 points, which is incredible when you think about where they were prior to the lockdown.
But in situations like this, they've got to do some creative. We're seeing Grujic now dropping into that centre-back role or half-space kind of role, which then frees up space for Peter Pekruk to go a bit deeper.
You're right. I mean, what's the point in sitting there and swallowing a 1-0 defeat? You're better off losing 2-0, but having had a go.
Yeah, well, it's sometimes a perception that what we're 1-0 down, why would we commit a central midfielder back? But it's the effect that it has on Dortmund's team and your other teammates. It's not just a simple case of piling everybody forward.
Like Mori comes on to replace Thorgan Hazard, who's had a decent game, in my opinion, this evening. Alerdi's also coming on for Witsel. 21 years old. back Emre Can inside his own penalty area. He's just Roman Berkey making the angle for him, receives it. The right-hand side. Emi to Morey, who's just come on. Sancho. Delaney. Here's Guerrero. Here's Reina inside the Hertha Berlin penalty area, but he's got company. Shape of Dedrick Boyata and Ngankam, who had come back. Pekarik clears it upfield. Kanji get it back for Dortmund. Piontek lays it in behind for Darida on this right hand side. Ball in towards the feet of Esvine, but the pass was just behind him. Opportunity goes begging. Morey, the substitute on this right flank for Borussia Dortmund. Interesting to see where Hakimi plays now. Come on, it looks as though he's just moved inside.
Yes, I think that might be just a temporary rotation that they do occasionally. But at the moment, you are right, it does look like he's playing more of an inside role. It's certainly something he's capable of.
Morey once again on this right hand side to Hakimi. Back out to Sancho. Dortmund just maintaining possession. Kanji now. Check into Morey again. Valerdi lays it off. It's Piszczek again. Pole delivers into the penalty area. It's cleared at the near post by Boyata. Hertha Berlin get the ball control, but that's a loose pass there. Mittelstadt. Here's Sancho on the edge of the box. His shot deflected off of Jordan Torunariga. Borussia Dortmund have another corner.
Hertha Berlin is trying to find a way to get the ball somehow, because obviously they've run out of time in the game. But again, it's nice play by Dortmund, constantly looking to combine in the half space and do it so often.
Wait for the corner to be delivered into the penalty area. Jadon Sancho standing over it. Delivers in towards that near post area. Comes to the back post though. The boot swung at it by Emre Can. He's appealing for a handball. He's going absolutely crazy in front of the referee. We'll wait to see a replay. Will it go to the VAR? Been flicked on. I think came off Piontek's head. It's Boyata who's in the way, but the ball's come off the ground and hit his arm. Seems a little harsh to me. Certainly strikes the arm, but I don't even know. What's the rule these days? Is it got to be intentional? It's so confusing, isn't it?
It's
a corner.
It's not in a... I don't think it's in an unnatural position. Obviously, the ball's in the air. He's just trying to block it and kind of protect his face at the same time, but not with his arm, just with his shoulder almost. So that requires him to lift his arm up. And I agree with that.
VAR have ruled it not to be a handball. Myself and Cam both agree, so there you go. Unanimous decision, you might say. Yarstein now been gathered the loose ball after that corner. He's with Boyata now, the man who was under review for a few moments. Pekarik trying to get forward, but Dortmund do well there defensively. Reina. Apologies, Balerdi getting back there. 84 minutes played. Borussia Dortmund 1, Hertha Berlin 0. Those in the director's box sitting a good 3 or 4 seats apart. Berkey will take the goal kick. Noriga hooks it clear. Ball breaks to Piontek inside the centre circle. Not where you want Lucas Piontek though, is it? You don't want him in the centre circle with his back to goal. Been a problem for Hertha Berlin. Struggled to create anything of note.
Again, it's positions like that where they don't have any options, so they just go along with it, and it's not going to work. It doesn't look like.
Just a percentage game when you play that way. Back to Roman Berkey there, but Dortmund maintain possession. All they need to do for this last 5 minutes or so. They're in front, they're in the lead. The onus is on Hertha Berlin to take the game to them. Here's Morey. Dortmund have created an overload on this near side, my apologies. Ashraf Hakimi's committed a foul. Can Hertha Berlin create something? Just one more opportunity. And they've only created one all game. That's the one that fell to Esswein. Might be too much of an ask for them to create another one in the remaining 4 minutes or so.
Looks like Grujic just came across again into that space. That's good press. Tried to free up the wing back, but I think Dortmund's wing back stepped up as well.
Here's Pekarik. He's got a bit of room here on this right hand side. Play it through the legs of Guerrero. Lacks a bit of pace, Pekarik, doesn't he? Particularly when he's up against the likes of Guerrero.
He hasn't been much of a regular either for Hertha Berlin this season. Just under Labbadia has been reintroduced, really.
That's right. He's made just 5 appearances this season, which is interesting. 5 going into this, be his 6th. Sixth appearance, and 5 of them have come under Labbadia. So there you go. Here's Grujic in towards Piontek, who's gone down. Referee gesturing for him to get up there. Jimmy asks the question. Put this to you, Cam. Were Dortmund's changes a gamble, being just 1 goal up?
I don't think so. I don't think they impacted their overall game plan that much. I think Hakimi coming into that central area, and I think it was Axel Witsel who came off.
Yep.
That was
as well.
Quite a strange change, but it doesn't seem to have affected them too much. The other changes like Gio Reyna coming on were just more or less like for like. So defensively, I don't think it's hurt them. You could argue if they conceded, it might have hurt them offensively afterwards, but it seems to have worked out.
Seen some more Hertha Berlin changes. Esswein, who came on as a sub, has gone off. Meyer's come on for Grujic. Guerrero looked as they controlled that with his arm. Esswein has been replaced by Samardzic. To the 89th minute here. Dortmund 1, Hertha Berlin 0. Here's Hakimi. Jadon Sancho. Guerrero now. Dances past the reader there. Sancho cuts back. Ball played inside. Sancho's got it again. Oh, lovely bit of skill from Jadon Sancho. He's inside the penalty area now. Here's Guerrero. Cuts it back to Sancho. Jadon Sancho. Real opportunity to finish off the game. That's a great save from Rooney Yarstein, who made himself big. Got down low to deny Jadon Sancho.
Dortmund more or less there just commit nearly 3 players in the half space. Or maybe just on the wing as well. But again, it shows how how well they can play in such tight areas, and Sancho there wriggles through, and good save again by Yarside.
Dortmund making another change. Guerrero is making way, and he'll be replaced by Marcel Schmelzer. Can he repeat what he did last week? Get a late goal for Borussia Dortmund. Uncharacteristically, I have to add. Yes, Samardzic. That far side for Hertha Berlin. He's just come on. Does really, really well there. Cuts it back to Derrida. Edge of the penalty area. Chips it in towards that far post. Boyata's in the box. Chance to get it back across the penalty area. It's fired at Boyata. Just hit him in the face. He couldn't do anything with that. Not happy with that delivery. Having made all the runs. Having made all the yards, forward. Get into that position. From centre-back, he'll be disappointed with that delivery. As will his teammates, who had also worked extremely hard to get into the penalty area so late on in this game. Into stoppage time now. It's Dortmund 1, Hertha Berlin 0. And plenty of substitutions in this second period. We don't know how long has been added on. Belerdi lays it off to Akanji. Lays it back towards the left-hand side towards Belerdi again, but the ball ended up rolling out for a Hertha Berlin throw. It's 3 minutes that were added on. We've just had confirmation on our screens. Means there's around about 2 minutes for Hertha Berlin to find a way back in this game. All played in behind for Jadon Sancho. Kimi. Moray now. Sancho on the right-hand side. What will he do here? Wins his team a throw-in. Rush to get on with it, Jadon Sancho. Understandably so. Around about a minute remaining of stoppage time here. Dortmund will close the gap on the leaders, Bayern Munich, to 7 points. Unlikely that they'll win the title now, but it'll be nice to keep the gap to a minimum, won't it, for Lucien Favre's side? Signal progress.
Yeah, and it also opens up a bigger gap between them and the teams below them who've all dropped points as of late. RB Leipzig dropping points today as well.
Not for the first time since the restart. Delaney. Schmelzer, but he miscued that pass. Long to go here now. Again, if you haven't given us a follow at Total Football Analysis yet, make sure you do. You'll never miss a future broadcast, and we've got plenty coming your way in the next few weeks. More commentators, more analysts, more games. Final whistle goes here. Borussia Dortmund win by 1-0. Big result for Lucien Favre's side. They weren't at their brilliant best this evening, but they managed to get over the line, and their quality shone through in just one particular moment. And that moment was enough to overcome Hertha Berlin. It's Borussia Dortmund 1, Hertha Berlin 0. Emre Can's goal, the difference between the two sides. My thanks to Cam Meighan for joining me today for our double header. It's been a great day of football. I don't know about you, Cam, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. How can people follow you on social media, and how can they check out your analysis, which is coming out on Monday?
Yeah, so I post all my analysis on my Twitter account, which is @Cam_Meighan. And yeah, check out the Total Football Analysis website at totalfootballanalysis.com.
Be sure to do so. Sign up to the weekly magazine as well, and there's plenty of brilliant content coming your way over the next few days. If you haven't already, don't forget to give us a follow on the Hot Mic app. That way, like I said, you'll never miss a broadcast. Thank you so much, and we'll be back very, very soon with more. Stay tuned to our Twitter feed for information on the upcoming games. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.